Good morning, students. I am Sachishekar, PGT English, working at APR School, Achutapuram. Now, I would like to teach you all a nice and very interesting poem from the 8th standard English textbook. But before I begin this poem, I love to ask you all some questions and you must be ready to answer them, my dear students. So listen to me attentively. Can you tell me who the most important person in one's life is? Can you guess from whom we all have entered this world? Whom do you think we are the extended body part? As God can't be present everywhere, whom does God send into this world to protect all of us like an umbrella during rain and shine? Shall I repeat the questions, my dear students? You can guess, my dear students. Can you tell me who the most important person in one's life is? Can you guess from whom we all have entered this world? Whom do you think we are the extended body part? Can you guess, my dear students? You can guess, my dear students. Without whom we can't take food, without whom we can't dress up properly, without whom we can't enter this world, without whom we can't live properly, without whom we are nothing. Can you guess the person, my dear students? Yes, very good, my dear students. It is mother. It is mother. It is our mother. The title of the poem that I am going to teach you all now is My Mother. My dear students, whom can you see in the picture? A mother is there standing beside a cradle in which there is an infant. From the cradle itself, the life journey of an emperor or a pauper, an intellectual or a moron will start. Dear students, the poem My Mother was written by Rabindranath Tagore, who is also popularly known as Vishwakavi and Gurudev. He was the first person to have received the Nobel Prize in Literature from Asia for his masterpiece Gitanjali. He founded the experimental school called Santiniketan to enrich the thoughts of the students both academically and spiritually. Every poem and every short story that he wrote reflects the culture, spiritualism, and love of this great land. When he was just 14 years old, his mother Sarada Devi left this world, my dear students. So, what is beautifully depicted in this poem is in nature, whatever he sees and wherever he goes, the memories of his mother are found very, very clearly, my dear students. So, dear students, now I will read out the whole poem, My Mother, for your sake. Just listen to me so attentively, my dear students. I can't remember my mother, only sometime in the midst of my play. A tune seems to hover over my playthings, the tune of some song that she used to hum while rocking my cradle. I can't remember my mother, but when in the early autumn morning The smell of the chili flowers float in the air. The scent of the morning service in the temple comes to me as the scent of my mother. I can't remember my mother. Only when, from my bedroom window, I send my eyes into the blue of the distant sky, I feel that the stillness of my mother's gaze on my face has spread all over the sky. Dear students, now I will begin the explanation for the first stanza of the poem, My Mother. But before I explain each and every line of the first stanza, I need to make you all aware of some of the difficult words given in the first stanza. Look at the words given in the slide, my dear students. Remember, to recall the memory of somebody or something. Hover, to remain in the air, midst, in the middle of. Tune, a song or a musical composition. Hum, to make a sound with closed lips. My dear students, I hope you have understood the meanings of these difficult words given in the first stanza. Now I will start the first stanza. Dear students, the first line of every stanza in this poem is repeated with the same line, I can't remember my mother. Here, the pronoun I refers to the poet Rabindranath Tagore. Why can't Rabindranath Tagore remember his mother? Because at his very tender age, his mother died. So he can't remember the physical appearance of his mother, which is why he emphatically repeats the same line as I can't remember my mother. Dear students, I hope you have understood contextually the meaning of the word remember. I can't remember, that means he cannot get the memory of his mother. As a boy, when he was playing with his playthings, the tune of his mother's song started hovering over his playthings. Suddenly, he stopped playing and started remembering the humming of his mother like lali 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 lali, moving the cradle when he was in it as an infant. Actually, Rabindranath Tagore was born and brought up in West Bengal, but we don't know the exact humming words of his mother, how she used to hum when he was in the cradle. But as we are Telugu people, our mothers usually hum when we are in the cradle like lali 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 lali. So that, my dear students, I have used this expression for this first stanza here. I hope you have understood these lines. Anyway, I have to make you aware of these two words again, that is tune. What is the meaning of tune? Tune is nothing but a song, a melody, a musical composition. That is tune. But humming is different. Hum means with the closed lips, with the closed lips, you pronounce some, you produce some words without their real meaning and real words. That is called humming. Mhm. This is humming. So actually we don't get anything from that hum and we enjoy that feeling. That's it. So He heard the hovering of the tune over his playthings when he was playing. In the middle of the play, he heard that sound, that tune, that humming of his mother. Here, he uses his ears to remember his mother throughout the beautiful tune of the song hummed by his mother. Dear students, how lucky we all are. Sometimes, when your mother runs after you with a plate full of food to feed you, you run away to play with your playthings like ball or bat or any other thing. Your mother catches you up and starts feeding steadfastly with her own fingers. After feeding is over, she wipes your mouth with the end part of her sari and later she lets you out to play whatever you want to play and wherever you want to go to have fun with your friends. But how unlucky Rabindranath Tagore is here. He has no mother to feed him like us. My dear students, how lucky we all are. Really, how lucky we all are having a mother. When you fall down and get injured, your mother will immediately run towards you and she will tear her sari and tie that piece about your injured part. But how unlucky Rabindranath Tagore is here. He has no mother to give him some solace during his injury while playing, my dear students. We all are very lucky to have our mothers. Whenever we feel uncomfortable, she comes and gives us some beautiful hug. That is the reason we can come out of any problem we have. We don't have any problems. We don't have any sorries. We don't have any worries. We don't have anything. But when our mother stands beside us and we are ready to conquer the world, my dear students, that is the beauty of mother's love. That is the unconditional love of our mother. We have to remember forever, my dear students. And once again, I will repeat the meanings of the first stanza once again. Remember to recall the memory of somebody or something, my dear students. Hover to remain in the air for some time midst in the middle of tune a song, a musical composition, hum to make a sound with closed lips, my dear students. And he was a boy. He was playing with his playthings, but suddenly he stopped playing and he heard the same tune what was being hummed by his mother when he was in the cradle. That's what he remembered now through his ears. That is the beauty of this first stanza, my dear students. I hope you have understood the first stanza. Now let us go for the second stanza, my dear students. Dear students, now let us discuss the second stanza of the poem, My Mother. But before I start the explanation of this stanza, I will read it out once. I can't remember my mother, but when in the early autumn morning the smell of the shuli flowers floats in the air, the scent of the morning service in the temple comes to me as the scent of my mother. Dear students, in the first stanza, the poet uses his sense of one of his five senses, that is hearing. He used his hearing, the humming, the tune of his mother's song. But here in the second stanza, the imagery is he wants to use his nose to smell the perfume, the scent of his mother. Now, before I start the explanation of this second stanza, I will go for the glossary part of the second stanza. Autumn, the season during which trees usually lose their leaves. Showy flowers, small white and orange flowers that bloom in autumn. Scent, which means perfume, good smell. Dear students, now I will begin the explanation part of the second stanza. Again, the stanza is also repeated with the same line. I can't remember my mother. Here also I refers to the poet Rabindranath Tagore. During autumn morning, my dear students, do you know what autumn is? The time during which the trees lose their leaves. Earlier we discussed it in the glossary part. Remember, my dear students, the season, whenever he encounters the season like autumn, whenever he smells the perfume of anything, he gets the memories of his mother. In the first stanza, whatever he hears, immediately he gets the memories of his mother. In the second stanza, now he uses his nose to get the beautiful memories of his mother. One fine morning, when the poet has a smell of the showy flowers, he immediately starts remembering the time when his mother was waving the showy flowers into a garland, and it was offered in the temple as a great morning service. My dear students, how many of you go to temples with your mother? I also used to go to temple with my mother when I was a kid. I used to uh, catch the hand of my mother, and I used to accompany my mother to temple, and she told me everything so clearly, to leave my footwear outside the temple and wash my hands and legs properly before I enter the temple. That was the culture we have been growing in this country. That is the culture we, that can make us purified. Now, my dear students, do you remember on any festive or special days, how does your mother take you to temple and ask you to worship God with your palms together? But how unlucky Rabindranath Tagore is comparing to all of us. He has no mother to take him to a temple. My dear students, without mother, the days we spend are really boring. The days we spend are really anguish. My dear students, as we all are lucky people to have our mother, we should enjoy each and every moment of our time with our mother. That is the beauty of mother's love. She shows unconditional love towards us. Dear students, before she eats anything, she is ready to give us. After we all eat, after our father eats, after our siblings eat, after we eat, and then whatever is left in the bowl, our mother is ready to take it. That is the unconditional love of our mother. But we should not ignore the words of our mother. We should not ignore the love of our mother. We should always be so grateful to the unconditional love of our mother, which can't be matched with any other thing in the world. That is the greatest thing in the world. That is the great quality of our mother. My dear students, you have to remember these words forever throughout your life. Here, the poet uses his nose to remember the beautiful memories of his mother through the scent of the Shivli flowers. My dear students, once again I will tell the meanings of the words, difficult words, even in the second stanza. Autumn, the season during which trees lose their leaves. Showy flowers, small white orange flowers that bloom in the season autumn. Scent, perfume, or good smell. My dear students, I hope you have understood the second stanza of the poem, My Mother. The first stanza deals with the hearing imagery, and the second stanza deals with the imagery smelling. And now let us go for the third stanza and what it deals with. Let us see, my dear students. Dear students, now let us discuss the third stanza of the poem, My Mother. I will read it out once and later we can discuss it. I can't remember my mother. Only when, from my bedroom window, I send my eyes into the blue of the distant sky, I feel that the stillness of my mother's gaze on my face has spread all over the sky. Dear students, how beautifully these lines are written by the great poet and philosopher Rabindranath Tagore. Before we go for the explanation part of this stanza, again let us discuss the difficult words given in the stanza. Stillness. Stillness means calmness or silence. Gaze. A fixed look. A fixed look. Spread. To become more widely present. These are the three difficult words given in the third stanza, my dear students. One is stillness, the other one is gaze, and the third one is spread. These three are the very important words in the third stanza, dear students. And now I will start the explanation of the third stanza, dear students. As usual, the third stanza is also repeated with the same line. I can't remember my mother. Here, I also refers to the great poet Rabindranath Tagore. How painful it is for him, how anguish he is now. He has lost everything in his life because he has no mother. If you have mother, if you lose any other thing, you are still rich in your life, my dear students. You have many things in your life, but still you have no mother in your life. But you are poor enough now, my dear students. You are not rich at all. From his bedroom, he sees the distant blue sky, which is symbolized as a heaven. He feels that the calm look of his mother on his face has spread all over the sky. My dear students, he wants to try to find his mother's presence everywhere. In the first stanza, he wants to hear the beautiful humming of his mother that hovers over his playthings. In the second stanza, he wants to know his mother's presence in the smell of the Shuli flowers, especially after those flowers were woven as a garland that was offered to God in the temple as a morning service by his mother. How beautiful it is. But here, he wants to try to find his mother's presence. Here,
in the beautiful sky. My dear students, now you have to understand it is the symbolized expression. Here everything is symbolized. Symbolism means comparison. Here, why the poet has written that he wants to see his mother's fixed look on his face that has spread it over the sky. Sky is over our head, which is symbolized as a heaven, and he feels that his mother has left him, has gone to heaven, and she is there. From the heaven, she blesses him. From there, she protects him. This is the desire that he has so strongly in his heart, but still he feels he undergoes a loss of something in his life in the matter of his mother, that she left him at his tender age. My dear students, how pathetic it is, how painful it is for him. The poet feels that his mother is now in heaven, and now he feels that his mother's presence there too, which is symbolized as his mother's love towards the poet, is as big as the entire sky. Here the entire sky is compared to his mother's love. How big is mother's love here is? You have to understand that point, my dear students. This is the poem that indicates the ultimate strong bond between the mother and the poet. Though the poet's mother died at the tender age of Rabindranath Tagore, what an impact she has created on the poet throughout his life. Here, the poet feels the sense of loss of his mother with much anguish, eventually turning his love from his mother to his motherland. This is what you have to understand in the end of this poem, my dear students. He loses his mother. He has no mother now, but he has motherland. He turns entire his love from his mother towards the motherland. This is what you have to understand at the end of this poem, my dear students. How great the poet has written this poem regarding the unconditional love of his mother towards him, as well as the unconditional love of the poet towards his motherland. That is the reason we can understand the culture, the heritage, the spirituality, the patriotism. Everything is reflected in the poetry of, in the novels of, in the dramas of, in the short stories of Rabindranath Tagore. This is the beauty of this poem, my dear students. You have to understand how the imagery is used here. In the first part, he uses his ears to know the humming of his mother, the tune of the beautiful song hummed by his mother when he was in the cradle. But in the second stanza, the beautiful reminiscence and memories of his mother, how she was going to temple after waving shuli flowers as a garland that was offered to God as a morning service in the temple. That's what he remembers now. In the third stanza, he thinks, he feels so strongly that his mother has gone to heaven, and from there she wants to protect him from all the difficulties he faces in his life, he undergoes in his life. And there, so he wants to convert his unconditional love from mother to motherland, and his mother's love is compared as the biggest love in the world, as the entire sky. That is called unconditional love, my dear children. You have to understand this poem in this way. My dear students, I hope you have understood this poem beautifully. Now, let us go for the question answer part. I will ask you very few questions regarding this poem, and you have to be ready to answer these questions. Thank you so much, my dear students, for having such patience in listening to my poem now. I hope you should be very careful at home and stay safe and stay home, my dear students. And let us wait for the question part now.
My dear students, I hope you have understood the three stanzas of this poem, My Mother. And in the end of this poem, you must understand one more point, that this poem has no rhyme scheme and no meter. Here are 5 questions given for you all to answer them. After answering these questions, you must show your answers to your teacher concerned in your school. Good luck, my dear students. Stay home and stay safe. Thank you, one and all.